Hello, I'm Moon, and today I'm gonna be reading some Reddit stories as you can watch me play Minecraft in the background. Now, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this video, but really no pressure. Alright, time to get into the stories. Okay. I, 25, female, and my partner, 29, male, are planning to get married, but I'm seeing some really big issues and I need some advice. By the way, this is an r/legal advice, I believe. Yeah. I, 25 female, and my partner, 25 male, have been together for about a year. We brought up the topic of getting married and engaged, and we're engaged, but I'm seeing some problems and having a hard time compromising. The main issue is with finances and families. We currently do not live together, but we want to head in that direction. The problem is that he wants me to move into his family's house. He is from another culture where multi-generational homes are very common. I do not want to do this due to a few key points. First off, his sister and I don't exactly get along all the time. She is always asking for money/help with her kids, and this is a responsibility I do not want to take on. I like kids. I just do not want to be responsible for someone else's children. She also does not contribute to their home. It may not be any of my concern, but I do not want to be part of the financial responsibility of providing for her and her children. Makes sense. The children's father also lives there, but he does not contribute any. He just lives rent-free and does not do much. I feel if I were to live there, I would eventually say something and maybe it would cause unnecessary issues. I would like to have our own place maybe and a couple minutes away to avoid the issue entirely. The second issue is financial. I recently got a job opportunity to move and be able to make significantly more money than what I currently make. I figured that this would be a good financial move for our future, but it would require him to move as well. He does not want to do this because he does not want to leave his family and he doesn't want to leave his job. The only problem is that he does not make enough money to support the both of us, and I need to be making more than what I am currently making to contribute. He wants us to go with the flow and see what happens, and I would like a plan that will help us plan the future. Not to mention we live in a very expensive city. It would be significantly more difficult to live here unless both of us have a decent income. I really don't know what to do or how to come up with a compromise on these things. Should I be more relaxed, or is there any ideas? All advice is appreciated. I think my stance on this would be to probably leave him. It's not like I have too much experience living in a big city. Of course, I'm not old enough to do that yet, but I will be soon actually. But I would say leave him. If he doesn't want to contribute and his family doesn't contribute, then I don't see the point in having a guy who can't make do for himself and look at things rationally. I understand his culture is different and that each person has a different culture and different viewpoints, but I also think that you shouldn't stay with someone who doesn't have the same ideals as you, because it's just gonna complicate things even more, and it's not worth it in the end. Alright, second story. Ooh. Okay. Delivered item to a customer that's paid with a stolen credit card. Now he's blocked me. How do I get police involved? This is a pretty short one. Had posted something on the FB Marketplace, was messaged about it, and sent a Square invoice for the item and delivery. delivery for $4K, $4,000. He paid with a credit card. I delivered 2 hours away in Kentucky to a house. I called the guy that paid and he told me he's not there, but someone else is. So a woman that didn't speak English came out and helped and took pictures of the item on the porch. Anyways, all was good till a week later. The credit card owner made a dispute and it was someone else's name. So he obviously stole it. I tried to contact him, but he has blocked me. How do I get the authorities involved? That's a good question. I wouldn't know. I would say go to the house that call the authorities. Go to the house that was there, and then just hopefully get him arrested, because if it's a stolen credit card, that's definitely bad. That's really bad. Because it's not even like $10 or anything. That is $4,000 from some random guy we don't even know. So that's actually terrible. I really don't know what to do in this situation, but I do hope he got his credit card back. Man, okay. Landlord gave me someone else's access to the storage unit, and now my stuff is missing / damaged. Oof. I rent an apartment, and I also pay extra for a storage unit in the building, $85 a month, separate from rent. It's one of those cage-style units in the basement, and it has a padlock that only I have the key to. Last week I went down there to grab some camping gear, and I noticed that the padlock was different, like a completely different lock than the one I put on there. I was confused, but figured maybe maintenance had to get in for something and changed it. But then I look inside and someone's moved my boxes around, and I can see one of my bins is cracked and some of my tools are gone. The DeWalt drill set and this little shop vac I had been saving up for are missing. I immediately go to the office and they tell me apparently there's been a misunderstanding, in quotes, and they accidentally gave another tenant access to my unit thinking it was available. The manager tried to say they sent me an email about it, but I never got anything. They also said the other tenant claims they didn't take anything and their stuff was already gone when they put their things in there. I asked to see the security cameras and the basement cameras and haven't been working for months. Super convenient, right? The other tenant is apparently moving their stuff out now, but I like my tools, and they are still missing and no one wants to take responsibility. The manager offered to waive 1 month of storage fee, but that's not even close to the covering what was taken. Can I make the landlord pay for my missing stuff? Should I file a police report even though I can't prove who took it? I'm not trying to be difficult, but this is really frustrating, and I had aside $3,500 from the state specifically for those tools for my side projects. Man, I feel really, really bad for this person. He has no evidence, and all of his stuff is gone, and money is also gone. $3,500 is gone. Okay, wow. Or maybe it's not gone. Maybe all this stuff is just, yeah, that's really bad. Okay. Yeah, email, and then someone stole the shop vac and drill set. That's really bad. Okay, I would say get the police involved. Even if you don't have concrete evidence, you can probably maybe question people. I mean, I don't really know. Yeah, wow, that's pretty crazy. Alright, brother, and let me take a sip of my drink. brother included my personal belongings and the sale of his house. For context, I let my brother gym equipment in 2020 or 2021 during the COVID lockdowns. I've asked for pieces of it back over the years, but he said he was still using it, and it wasn't urgent, so I never pushed too hard to get it back. Recently, he listed one of his properties on sale and asked to borrow some more gym equipment. So I equipped items, TV, dining table, etc. to stage the house, as well as he moved the gym equipment into an empty house for staging. Well, it has come up that he included the gym equipment in the sale of his house. I'm talking about $5,000 worth of gym equipment. I used to own a gym, and I had quite a bit of equipment. I told him it was mine, and he should have not done that. He shouldn't have done that. He now claims I sold it to him for $400 during COVID. Closing is not yet happened. His inspections are taking place on Wednesday. What is my recourse here? Do I have any options? Well, number one, you get him to give your stuff back. It is yours. And whether you can prove that or not, and if you have to get the police involved on your own brother, well, if he's stealing from you, I think that's definitely a last-ditch effort if nothing else works, but I do hope he gets his stuff back. Okay. A landlord I didn't even rent from is trying to sue me for damages. Back in November, I looked at an apartment and decided at the time not to move forward with it. I emailed the landlord in December to look at the unit again because I couldn't find anything and it seemed like the best option. I applied to the apartment, and once I did, the landlord went radio silent and seldomly, if at all. She said it would rent the unit to me, but never provided a move-in date other than specifying in email that the unit would be ready by January 1st. I followed up for at least multiple times, and each time she said she would send it that evening. I let her know when my current lease was expiring in text, again via voicemail. Almost a month after applying, she texted me if the specified move-in date would be good, and she said send the lease, and she sent the lease now. In hindsight, I should have ran, but I needed somewhere to live. Again, she went radio silent, and after not receiving my lease again, I acquired temporary housing and moved my things into storage. A week after she last reached out, she sent a lease out of the blue 36 hours before the proposed move-in date. I responded as quickly as I could that I would not be moving forward. She immediately sent paragraphs of text telling me that she and her husband are lawyers and they're approaching this in good faith, but they needed the prorated rent because I allegedly backed out the day before moving. She also went about how I should have given her more notice before, and that she accommodated an early moving. She then sent me a letter requesting the prorated rent, and if I didn't pay her, she outlined the complaint she's filing with small claims that the court for 3x the prorated amount. Wow. She's saying I agreed to move in, but there's no evidence of that. I never gave a deposit, received the terms of the lease, and the rent amount is nowhere in writing. Was this whole thing a scam? Is there any legal basis for the demand letter? Yes. yeah. That's a scam. If she's sending you stuff and you're like, please, can I move in? Can I move in? Can I move in? Over and over again, and then you realize that you have to have somewhere to live, and then you move somewhere else, and then after she's like, oh, you can move in now, but you're like, no, I don't want to move in with you. And then she sues you. Okay, well, you kinda did take like a long day. It doesn't say, I think. I don't know. Did she say specifically? Yeah, like, I don't know, a week later or something. But that's pretty crazy, honestly. Like, having someone just basically scam you after you begging them pretty much to move in is not cool. That is not cool. Right. Family member borrowed $8,000 without a signed repayment agreement. 18 months later, they're calling it a gift. Location, Ohio. A little over a year ago, my cousin, 34 male, oh wow, okay, came to me in a rough spot, needed $8,000 urgently, said he'd lose his car and had overdue bills piling up. We'd always had a decent relationship, so I helped him out. We didn't sign anything because, family. We agreed verbally that he'd pay it back within a year. For the first few months, he actually did make payments, small ones, totaling around $800. Then he just stopped. Every time I followed up, he'd say he'd sort it soon. I gave him space because, again, family. Last month, I finally told him I needed the remaining $7,200 and asked if we could work out a payment plan. His response genuinely floored me. He said I gave him the money as a gift because that's what family does. A gift that I asked to be paid back, that he was making payments on. What I do have is the bank transfer records showing that my money leaving my account and his account, payments coming back, and our text conversations where we clearly discussed repayment terms and he acknowledged the debt multiple times. No signed agreement though, which I know is on me. Lesson absolutely learned. My question, is there any realistic legal path to recovering $7,200 from a family member with no signed contract, only bank records and text messages acknowledging the debt? TLDR, lent cousin $8K. On a verbal agreement, he paid back $800 and then he stopped. Now he can't do his gift. Have transfer records and texts where he acknowledged he was owing the money but no signed contract. Do I have any realistic options? I would say, again, get the police involved if you have to, because this is serious. This is $7,200 we're talking about. That's quite a lot of money, even for a working member, a working person. That's a lot of money, so I would say it's not cool. Probably get your family involved. Tell them get some other family member involved and try getting their money back, man. I don't really know. Try getting the money back any way you can, because $7,200 is a lot of money. It's interesting how he sent him $800 and then stopped, probably because he knew he couldn't pay it back by that point, which is kind of a crummy move. And then plus making the excuse about it being a gift, that's really crummy. And he probably should have been completely honest, and that would have probably sorted itself out. Alright. Oh wow, this one's fun. Okay. Neighbor running an illegal business under my address. My neighbor is running a restaurant out of her home and has my address plastered all over the delivery apps and even on her website. When you look up the business in my state, it says forfeited, and this business is not in good standing. And when you search it up on a BBB, it says not an accredited business. She has been selling food from her apartment on Uber Eats, DoorDash, Too Good To Go, Grubhub, basically any food service where you can think of. She's on there with my address. There's no way this was a mistake, as she has my address listed everywhere. She obviously didn't want her address on it for whatever reason. Is there any legal action I can take? I have been dealing with hundreds of people coming to my door, knocking on my windows and hitting the buzzer pretty much non-stop for months. When I send people to her door, she yells at them and tells them to wait outside. Do these food providers have no sort of verification process when adding a new merchant? Is it even legal to secretly be making orders in your home when people think they're ordering from an actual restaurant? She also has 240,000 Instagram followers, and it's nowhere on there does it state that she is a home chef. It's all portrayed as it's from a commercial restaurant. That's pretty insane, actually. I'm gonna be honest. Like, imagine starting a freaking restaurant and actually being it from your home. Wow, you have your friend just chilling there, getting their doorbell rang every 5 seconds because apparently you just took their address because why not? Because you can do that now, apparently. Yeah, that's actually insane. Okay, former employee listed me as not eligible for rehire and it cost me a job offer. Location, Washington State. I left my previous job voluntarily about a year ago, gave me 2 weeks notice. I completed all my handover documentation and what was left, um, and what was left, oh my god, and what was left I'd be relieved on good terms. My manager shook my hand on the last day. I had no disciplinary history, no write-ups, no performance improvement plans at any point during my 2 years there. Last month, I went through a full-stage hiring process at a new company. Made it to the office stage and the offer was reconciled after their background check came back. The recruiter told me off the record that my former employer has flagged me as not eligible for rehire in their system, which triggered a policy at the new company that automatically voids conditional offers. I have no idea what this designation was applied. I have never told anyone or given an opportunity to contestant, and as far as I knew, my departure was completely standard. I reached out to my former manager, who has no involvement with it, and seemed genuinely surprised, and suggested it may have come from HR rather than anyone I worked with directly. My questions are: does Washington State have any laws requiring employers to disclose the eligible rehire designation to a departing employee? Not eligible for rehire designation to a departing employee, and do I have the recourse if the designation is factually inaccurate or was applied without any legitimate cause? I'm also wondering whether contacting HR and my former employer directly to request my personal file is advisable at this stage, or whether it could complicate things if eventually it becomes a legal matter. Oh my god, this is just getting insane at this point. Yeah. That's insane. I don't even know what to say to this. I mean, if you're getting your employer to completely just void you, apparently. So, I don't know if jeez, this is hard because if your manager is telling you that they didn't do it or didn't do it, that's pretty interesting actually. Because what do you do in that situation? Because HR might be the best option here. Because yeah, because there's nothing really you can do against something that's voiding your application. You can't really do anything unless you void that. Void the what do you call it? That document saying that you did something bad or whatever. Anyways, that's gonna be the end of the video, and I really hope you enjoyed. This is kind of my second time doing this. I'm not very good at it, so whatever, but please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and yeah, this is Moon. See you next time.